In the news, President Muhammadu Buhari has been advised to suspend his administration's plan to spend $1.5 billion on the renovation of the Port Harcourt refinery. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) said the plan by the Buhari administration should be suspended until an impact assessment of the spending on critical sectors like education, health, clean water and safe roads is carried out and widely published. The group urged the president to redirect the $1.5 billion to support access to quality education for poor children and to implement the Safe School initiative. SERAP says spending such an amount of public money to repair the refinery at a time of poor economic realities in the country and the growing level of public debt would undermine the constitutional oath and commitment to provide public services and goods and increase debt servicing costs.
Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa (CAPPA) has sounded the alarm over the consistent shortage of water in Lagos. This is even after the call by the Lagos State government on residents to observe the protocol of COVID-19. Speaking at a special event to mark the World Water Day 2021 at the launch of another report on the poor state of water supply in the state, CAPPA called on governments at all levels to make sure water is made available to the majority of the people as a way of curbing the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. This year's theme of the International Water Day, as declared by the United Nations, is Valuing Water. And in doing this, CAPPA presented a publication titled Water and COVID-19. 1 year after Diamond report, water shortage still persists in Lagos. In the report, the organization, as a follow-up to its early report in July last year at the peak of the pandemic, went around waterworks in Lagos to report on the state of the facilities.
World Water Day has turned out to be another opportunity for us to re-emphasize the same messages we have been emphasizing over the years, that the water infrastructure in Nigeria, and particularly Lagos, has been neglected, and that's the reason why we don't have water. And then the recourse to privatization is one of the greatest threats that is bedeviling the sector. Now, the release of this report, which we have conducted over the last 3 months, shows that the neglect of the water infrastructure to pave way for privatization is deliberate. We expect the state government to do something about this. This is the key to ensure that our people have water.
Where we are is a retrogression, which has its origin from the concept that government must not get involved in such things. That is the private sector, SAP. SAP brought us where we are today on water. And what we are trying to do is to reenact the importance of water, even in our tradition.
According to the report, apart from the Alexander Waterworks in Ikoyi, which serves the elites, every other visited water infrastructure across the state is begging for attention.
There should be enough investment in the public water infrastructure such that we shift focus from this hideous idea of privatization, whether as in disguise of PPP or whatever other name we choose to call it. Now, water should work. An average citizen should be able to turn on the tap in his home or her home and be able to get water.
CAPPA regrets that rather than face the issue of providing adequate and portable water for residents, the Lagos State government was busy looking for how to privatize the waterworks and thus further drive its availability away from the populace. One of the critical recommendations in CAPPA's new report is the call on the Lagos House of Assembly to convene a special session on the dire water situation in the state with a view to finding a lasting solution. Helicopters and boats were deployed to rescue residents stranded by catastrophic floods in eastern Australia on Tuesday, as authorities warned more areas were now under threat. A relentless week-long downpour has soaked most of New South Wales, causing surging rivers to burst their banks, swallowing homes, roads, bridges and farmland. Strained emergency services, which just 1 year ago were battling drought and unprecedented bushfires, used military aircraft and water sport equipment to access cut-off communities. So far, around 850 people have been winged or ferried to safety. but tens of thousands have been told to flee their homes, and wild weather has spread to more inland areas. About 18,000 people have already been evacuated across New South Wales.
It's been crazy. I put a time lapse on yesterday, like from where you could see the paddock, all the grass, and it just rose up and up and up, covered our fence, covered all of our bushes. It wasn't this bad last year in February, but it's crazy compared to last year.
It hasn't really moved, but we're told it still could move. So again, it's still just playing that waiting game, waiting to see if it is going to come up or not. We've survived a few high tides so far with it coming in and the opening of the dam. So hopefully this is where it stays. I've been lucky. People around us not so lucky. Houses in the next street have lost bottom floors and gone under, and neighbours have lost their front yards. So far, I'm lucky.
In part of the states, residents have begun looking to clean up efforts, but meteorologists have warned that flooding will persist for days, even though rainfall is forecast to ease on Wednesday.
And that's the news.